Hello, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Lila, and today we are going to be chatting about the 7 books and 2 novellas that I read in December. We got a lot to get through today, so an Alani is needed, and my Costco finally got my favorite flavor. Okay, so the first book that I read in December was Holly by Adalyn Grace, and this is a Christmas novella within the Belladonna series. I was really looking forward to this and had very high hopes, but I ended up being kind of disappointed by this. This novella had the signature dark mystery that all of the other books in the Belladonna trilogy also have, but I felt that the mystery in this was too easily resolved and I wasn't really engaged in it and didn't really care about it. The Christmas elements in this were definitely present and definitely cute. However, I just felt like this was not as good as the main 3 books in this trilogy. I will say that I do think it can be difficult for authors to create really well-rounded, well-thought-out stories within such short novellas, but I ended up giving this a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I picked up was a gift from my mom, and I picked it up because I wanted to read something that wasn't a romantasy and wasn't a holiday book like the other things that I was reading this month, and I am so happy that I did, and that book is Butter Honey Pig Bread. This is a lyrical novel about a Nigerian mother and her twin daughters, and it explores themes of love and healing and familial relationships and queerness and identity. This book is set between Lagos and Canada, and the book is told in a very interesting way because it is broken down into 4 sections: butter, honey, pig, and bread. And in each of those 4 sections, we read from the mother's perspective as well as each of her twin daughters. Each character's personal story was really intriguing to me, and I was invested in all of them. And it was really interesting how their personal stories related to one another, but didn't always intersect. A lot was packed into this relatively short read, and it was quite emotional. I felt like this was really unique and beautiful, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Alani break. The best flavor.
Next, I read a super cute and cozy book, and that is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This is a Regency era fantasy about a girl who is cursed by a fairy to live with half a soul, and that leaves her without a sense of fear or embarrassment, which leads to some very entertaining situations in this book. The main character in this book is one of my favorites that I have ever read. I found her to be so charming, and the book is so whimsical and light. This blends romance and magic and humor and wit. If you are looking for a light-hearted, cozy fantasy, I highly recommend this, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Dark Mirror, which is the 5th book in the Bone Season series. And if you take any of my recommendations from any of my videos, let it be this. This was the best series that I read all year. I am absolutely obsessed with it and in love with it. So I don't want to say too much about the plot of this specific book because it is the 5th in the series, but if you have yet to read the first, which is the Bone Season is set in a futuristic London where it is illegal to be clairvoyant and where the government is hunting clairvoyance. Our main character, Paige, is clairvoyant, and she is a dream walker, which essentially means that she can possess people. And early on in book 1, she is captured by the government and sent to live in a mysterious prison. While she is at this prison, she learns about a hidden world that she wasn't aware of before and becomes involved in a very important and dangerous rebellion. Book 5 was very fast-paced and intense, but definitely the most romantic of the entire series. This series has an amazing romance subplot. There is so much other stuff going on in this series that doesn't involve the romance, but the romance in this is just so good. I cannot wait for the next book to come out, and I am begging for Samantha Shannon to release it soon. This was, of course, a 5 out of 5 stars, and the series as a whole is an infinity out of 5 stars. I love it. I also read The Pale Dreamer, which is a short prequel novella to the Bone Season, and this book takes place prior to the events of book 1 and follows Paige as she joins the underworld of powerful clairvoyance. This was a very good prequel, but I am so sad because it was the last in the series that I have to read, so I need the next book in the Bone Season to come out soon. Seriously, I know I said it earlier in this video, but if you are interested in the fantasy or dystopian genres, you you need to try this series. Next, I changed things up and I read a romance, which was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book follows Nora, who is a very career-driven literary agent living in New York City, and she has had challenges with romantic relationships in the past due to her emotional distance and her dedication to her work. Nora and her sister take a trip to a small town where a grumpy editor that she knows from work also happens to be. As their paths intersect, a friendship and a romance grows between them. So this was not my favorite Emily Henry book that I have read from her. I do really enjoy how she writes her characters because I find them to be very believable. Her writing is also undeniably witty and clever. I just didn't really relate to the main character, Nora, who is a very high-achieving, career-driven literary agent, which is very far from who I am. The romance was cute and the family dynamics were interesting, but the side characters fell a little bit flat for me. I've read other books from Emily Henry with more convincing romances and deeper storylines. So this wasn't bad, but it just wasn't my favorite Emily Henry book, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Continuing on with Emily Henry, I read Happy Place. This book is about a couple who has broken up but has yet to tell their closest friends about it. They are spending a week at a final getaway to a beloved vacation home with their friends where they have to pretend that they are still together. I have heard people describe Happy Place as Emily Henry's least romantic book and say that it focuses more on the friendships within it, but I didn't feel that way. I actually felt like this was heavily focused on the romance and the conflict and relationship problems between the couple. If I am being completely honest, I was bored during this. This book was cheesy at times, and I felt like the ending had way too easy of a resolution. The resolution had me questioning all of the conflicts in the book, including the relationship conflicts, the familial conflicts, and the friendship conflicts, and how serious they really were if they were that easily resolved and wrapped up at the end of the book. This, of course, had Emily Henry's staple witty humor and life lesson takeaway. But again, this just wasn't the Emily Henry book for me, and I gave this 2.5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read a cute Christmas book, and that was Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This book follows Harriet, who is an antique shop owner whose December is changed when she is haunted by the ghost of Christmas past, who is our main male character, Nolan. As Harriet and Nolan spend more time together, a connection grows between them. This was a really refreshing and well thought out Christmas romance. To me, Christmas romance books often feel rushed, but I felt like this one was really well thought out and I really enjoyed all of the characters within it. This was really sweet and had great holiday vibes and was exactly what I was looking for a Christmas book. I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it if you're looking for a holiday read next Christmas season. The last book that I picked up in December is so good, and that is The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. This is a Viking-inspired romantasy about our main character Scylla, who finds herself traveling with the notorious Blood Axe crew. This has elements of survival, danger, resilience, and adventure. I really loved the main character in this book, Scylla. At one point, she trips over a rock and then apologizes to it, which is so relatable. This book had lots of plot twists that I didn't see coming, and it also had a really well done love triangle. I am somebody who typically hates a love triangle in a book, but the way that this one was done had me so confused and intrigued. I have heard people say that this book can be hard to get into, but I didn't feel that way. I was engaged throughout the entire story. To me, this was such a good first book in a romantasy series, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I also felt like it was quite refreshing and different from other romantasy books that I have read, which I have been looking for because I find that as more and more romantasy books are being published, they seem more and more like one another. So this was quite unique and refreshing, and I'm really excited to read the sequel. So those were all of the books that I read in December. If you have a favorite book from December that you read, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you again with a new video soon. Bye!